Yeah.
Saturday night, Hunter, Duke, and North Carolina for the second time.
And,
this time, Duke covered.
They did. They did cover. I didn't think they would. I thought North Carolina would play them a lot closer. And for the majority of the game, it really was close. I mean, what was the halftime score? If I'm not mistaken, it was actually like just a few points. 7 maybe? 34-42. What was it?
It's not show that in the box score. Yeah, it does. 8 points.
8 so it was 8 points. And then it was really, just as close there in the second half. It was only 5 points in the difference. So they played them close. The scoreboard doesn't show it. The problem with North Carolina was, to be honest, it was Duke's defense. Duke played fantastic defense on Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony was about useless. Garrison Brooks out there went, if I'm not mistaken, they said this was his 5th game in a row with over 25 points. So he's getting it done on the court, on the block, and it also hurt them as well. They had to go for quite a while on the floor without Armando Bacot because he got in foul trouble slightly early in the second half. So
Brooks' problem is 9 of 22. He's under 50% from the field.
That and free throws.
Black was 3 of 10.
The free throws attempt
Cole
for
Anthony
everybody.
was 4 of 14. And then Carolina misses 6 free throws. Shooting not too well is what I'm looking at. 40% from the field, 29 of 71, 33 from 3. Duke was 47% and 47% from 3. So they're 47% across the board. They missed 4 of their 33 free throws. Took 13 more free throws than Carolina and missed less free throws.
Also for Duke, I know why they have Vernon Carey listed there on the bench. They played a lot of their seniors. It was senior night for Duke. Vernon Carey, they could not stop Vernon Carey on a pick and roll to save their life.
Yeah.
No, but they would not. Nobody would come over and help when he would come off of setting the screen, rolling off, and he literally would just have a free roll to the basket. Not only that, Duke out fast breaked North Carolina. And that's what North Carolina does for years. Is just when they get the offensive rebound, they push the ball down the court. Duke did it tremendously. Vernon Carey ran the floor like every North Carolina big has for the last 20, 30 years. Just as soon as that board happens, the guard usually gets it or maybe one of the wing players, and he's gone. Vernon Carey was gone. 2-3 steps, and he's already ahead of every North Carolina defender. It was tough.
Carolina plays Tuesday night.
Yes.
Against
Virginia
Tech. We talked this weekend kind of about where could they possibly be playing in the postseason. They're going to have to make a run to the and win it if they won in the tournament.
I've seen I
doubt that's going to be.
I've never seen a team this low in their bracket make a run. But the one team I do remember that made a run not only went on to win the Big East championship, but that run went on to win them the national championship as well, was Kimball Walker's UConn. They were not one of the top 4 respected teams in the Big East, and what it basically was they caught lightning in a bottle. And they just rode that momentum on because it's both your conference tournament and the big dance essentially are the same. You just got to play 4 or 5 good games basketball.
Right.
That's about it. The seedings are over. It's all over now. Now you just have to go out there and play basketball.
Beat who's on the schedule, yeah.
Yeah, and just beat who you have to play. That's really what it was. So do I think that they have a chance? I think they definitely have a chance in round 1 to beat Virginia Tech. If they play how they've played the last 3-4 games of the regular season, yes, even against Duke, because like I said, I think they played a lot better than the box score shows. I think they have a really good shot of at least beating Virginia Tech by 5 or 6. Okay. Not a huge margin, but a little bit of a cushion to say, all right, that was a good win. That's a good win. After that, though, it's just going to come down to matchups. I will say this, no offense, Terry, but if they draw NC State, they're going to beat them again. NC State doesn't want anything to do with North Carolina right now. They're 0-2 on them. We're in their head.
They beat them a third time. That'll knock them out of the tournament.
100%. And just like Terry said, they are still right now a part of the Final Four, or first 4 out. So that I think is crazy as well. But I think North Carolina does have an opportunity. I think the toughest to beat, though, are going to be Virginia because they're hot right now. I think they're on an 8-game win streak. Duke definitely is going to be difficult to beat because they're always difficult to beat. It's just Duke. And sneakily, I know if my buddy's listening, he's going to love that I say this because he's a huge Florida State fan. But Florida State, there's a reason why they won the ACC regular season. That's always tough to do in general. Now they have a true opportunity to lock up a 1 seed if they win the ACC tournament.
Will this be one of the years that we actually have a team that isn't qualified for the tournament win it and get in? Because usually the ACC usually has anywhere 6 to 8 or 9 teams anyway.
Right.
So the team that wins it is definitely one of the top teams. It's usually one of the top 2 teams that win the tournament.
Yes.
So what do you think as far as does anybody win and get themselves in the tournament through this way? Who do we have out right now? So Georgia Tech has self-imposed no postseason play.
Okay.
So
we're talking just out of the ACC. If I'm not mistaken, easily the first 4 are in. So that leaves anybody below Georgia Tech.
Can NC State, Syracuse, or Notre Dame basically win the tournament?
Win the tournament. I've seen Syracuse ball out against
with
Duke.
That zone. They can sneak around and win.
That zone is always dangerous. Boeheim's done it before, not just in the ACC, but in the Big East.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely a coach to watch out for. Notre Dame will play hard. Clemson has got some big upsets on the season. They beat Duke. They beat Florida State. I don't know if they beat Clemson or Louisville or Virginia, but they've shown that they are able to step up and play in big games. But really, anybody below Clemson, I think, is going to have a really tough time. I mean, everybody will say it, and you got to mean it. North Carolina might be the most dangerous bottom seed out of any team in in their respective conference tournament. But other than that, they're just matching up against a one more win in conference Virginia Tech team. I think they'll win that. It's just going to come down to who's in front of them and who they would play after this. Do they have the bracket up?
Yeah, that's what I was about to try and pull up here is the ACC bracket. They play tomorrow. I just put it in the schedule. I think 6:30 or 7 is when Carolina plays Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
All right, here you go, Hunter. I'll pull it up for the folks watching at home.
Yeah.
Watching at home on the Facebook and the YouTube. Maybe if I can get my mouse.
So game 2, if North Carolina was to win game 2, the game 2 of Tuesday against Virginia Tech, they would be matched up against Syracuse.
Yep.
North Carolina beat Syracuse the last time they played Syracuse, so that's a winnable game. And the same thing would happen is
NC State gets game 1 winner instead of game 2 winner. So we almost got State for the third time.
That's exactly
if they can
right.
Win.
Out of the Wake Forest and Pittsburgh game, I could see both of them winning that game. I would lean probably more towards Pittsburgh to beat Wake Forest, even though Wake Forest did beat Duke, and then it would be NC State versus the winner of Wake Forest and Pittsburgh. Then from there, if it goes correctly, it would be if North Carolina somehow was able to win Game 6, they would be the one to play Louisville.
Right. So
and that's tough.
So Carolina's schedule to victory is Virginia Tech, Syracuse, and Louisville. They already know who the first 3 opponents would be.
Oh, yeah.
Then the Saturday is the semifinals and Sunday. So they've got to beat Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Louisville, and then, Hunter, win 2 more games to get in the tournament.
It's a tall task.
Huh?
It's a tall task.
Now, they would be playing after Louisville, they'd be playing the winner of Virginia and whoever they would be hosting. So
yeah, so it's tough. North Carolina has played Louisville already this year. They got beat in their latest matchup, 72-55. So Louisville really hung it on them. The Louisville's already gotten beat by Florida State. They beat Virginia Tech 68-52, and then they did in fact lose their final game to Virginia 57-54. That was a senior night at Virginia. So they're not bad losses to Florida State and Virginia. They finished respectively above Louisville in the ACC. That would be obviously the biggest and toughest matchup for North Carolina. If North Carolina is able to get up to the level of competition though that they play against Duke, I think maybe they would have a chance. But the question is, are they going to be able to do it 3 games in a row? I'm not sure.
If Carolina does not win in the last 12 years, they will only have one
ACC tournament or ACC championship. Tournament championship. Yep.
In 12 years, only one, and the coach coming last. And then he says, "We ain't got no talent around here, Hunter. How am I supposed to coach them? You're the talent recruiter."
Yeah, but in those
no championships. Look at not only that, Hunter.
Yeah, I was just
how many of those are losses?
Oh, that he has lost in the final.
That coach has lost. Think about this. In the last 12 years,
he's lost 4 finals.
Five. The coach has lost 5 important games. Only won 1 of 12 years. He's 1 in 5. Time to fire the coach.
Time to fire the coach. I was saying that a few years ago, and then they ended up making a run and winning the national championship. So it's this just might be an anomaly. It just might be that 1 year where I hate to take
Chris just said, "Hi, Chris. We're trying to figure out if I'm gonna fire Roy again." Andy said he gets a no, but I mean, 12 years in a row, only one conference title. When did he start?
2000 and I don't know when he took over. It was early 2000s.
Roy Williams,
because they won the national championship in 2005. That was his first national championship with North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. We'll click on the Wikipedia.
We'll learn something today.
The Wikipedia. 2003.
Okay, so after 2 years of being there, he won a national championship.
He's won 3 tournament titles since he's been there in 17 years.
He's also won 3 national championships. And, I would love to come out here and consistently say, look, we're ACC tournament champions every year, if not every other year. We're regular season champs every year. That's all fine and dandy, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think it sounds a whole lot better to me to be national championship.
Right.
Because I'm just looking through here, and 2014. Duke's got 8 conference titles, but I'm looking at how many of those years did they win the national championship that same year. It was not many.
That's true, too.
Duke won their last national championship in 2015, I want to say.
Virginia has 2 since Roy's been there.
And Virginia just won their first national championship.
Mm-hmm. Miami, Florida State, and Maryland, former Big Ten team, are the teams that have won ACC titles since Roy started in the ACC. So Roy's got 3.
I'm just looking.
K's got
here.
8.
Let me see.
Roy's lost 5.
Men's basketball.
Roy's lost to Virginia, Notre Dame, Florida State, Duke, and Virginia, Notre Dame, Miami. How about all 5 losses been to 5 different teams, Hunter?
For Roy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's lost to Virginia, Notre Dame, Miami, Florida State, and Duke. So every team that won the ACC tournament beat Carolina.
I'm just looking at, NCAA.
All of them.
Tournament champions. They won it 2001, 2010, and 2015 if you're Duke. And I'm looking here, 2010, they won it that year to go on and then win the national championship. But in 2015, they were a runner-up. They lost, 2015, they weren't even in the final game.
No.
That was North Carolina and Notre Dame. And then in 2001, you'd have to scroll down because it's not there. But in 2001, they did win that one over North Carolina. So they've been tournament champions twice, and they've been national champions twice.
Mm-hmm.
Those have only matched up twice. But other than that, just scroll down that list, and people that have won, very rarely are they the winner, and then they just go on to win the national championship. I mean, I could go and do North Carolina's national championships. They won it in 2009.
93, they actually lost to Georgia Tech. I was at that one. They won in 82.
They were not the champions of the ACC in 2005, and that's when they won that championship.
The Stackhouse, Carter, Jameson teams that didn't win a national championship, they won 3 ACC titles.
And then
And
2009,
Duke won 7 out of 8 years.
North Carolina won it the year before that they won the national championship. Unless I'm doing this wrong, this should be correct. Because you know how they always are like the 08-09 season?
Yeah, well, by the finish, right?
Yeah, by the finish. So if this goes just by the year it started, 2009 North Carolina won it. They did not win the conference championship, but they
Right.
went on to win the national championship.
Right.
Duke won it the next year. And then North Carolina won it in 2016, 17 when we won it last?
I don't know.
I can't remember. It's not
What
been
does that say?
long.
2005 is the last poster I got. I'm pulling it up so I can compare them on the screen too. NCAA National Basketball Championships brought to you by the World Wide Web.
North Carolina won in 2017. So in 2017, they didn't win the ACC championship either. They were the runner-up, and they went on to win the national championship.
So there you go.
There you go.
2017, North Carolina won the national championship, did not win the ACC. 2015, Duke won the national championship, did not win the ACC. 2013, Louisville won the national championship, did not win the ACC. I don't know if they were in it then.
Mm-hmm.
Duke in 2010 did. 2009, North Carolina did not. North Carolina won the national championship. 2005 did not win the ACC title. 2001, Duke. So Duke is the only team in the 2000s. They've done it twice of North Carolina Duke. Only one that's won both.
Mm-hmm.
They've done it twice. So you don't have to win it at all, Hunter, to win the ACC title. And most years North Carolina did not do that. Even back to 93, Carolina didn't. Let me see the 91-92 Duke teams. I'm sure they might have.
I kind of underplayed.
The 92 Duke team did win. The 91 Duke team did not. They actually lost to North Carolina. So only 3 teams since, let's see, Georgia Tech. Let me go back down through here real quick. 3 teams. NC State did 4 teams. So 4 teams since 1980 won a national championship and an ACC title.
So if you're running basically off those numbers,
It's about 500
if you're
or
running
worse.
if you're basing it off of those numbers, then whoever wins the ACC championship is more than likely not going to win the national championship.
Good chance.
There's a good chance. And I kind of underplayed the regular.
Only 4 ACC tournament title
Yeah.
champions have won it in 34 years. 30 years. 40 years. Jeez, 40 years.
Kind of
since 1980.
underplayed. I brought up UConn. So North Carolina was 14 seed right now. UConn was not that far down, but they did win the Big East tournament as a 9 seed and then went on to win the national championship. So it's all about just catching hot. They received a number 3 seed in the tournament. UConn did, after, of course, winning out in the Big East, and that was when the Big East was strong. That was before everybody started leaving. So that was that was good for UConn then. So North Carolina fans, there's still hope, and really every team in there that's a 9 seed, there's hope, because you can always revert back to UConn.
Well, Villanova have won 2 the past 4 championships. Connecticut since 2011 they got 4 in the Big East. Only 2 in the ACC. Kentucky, the other one in Louisville. Was that an ACC win, 2013, or was that Big East?
Actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, that was vacated.
Well,
that's why
I see an asterisk there.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that was vacated.
Because
what
was
was
it?
it?
Was that the recruiting?
Yeah, that was Patino's mess. What was it? 2013 Louisville.
Right. So I just want to get this straight on the Patino's mess, right?
Right.
If I bought the recruits clowns to tell jokes, would that be a recruiting violation?
Maybe.
It might be. If I paid for a band to come in and play or recruit some music, would that be a recruiting violation? I'm just trying to figure out, like, what's the recruiting violation that they paid for strippers? Is there a comparable? You see what I mean? You see what I'm getting at? Like, is there a line of, hey, you just paid for entertainment, Like paying for, is that the same as paying for a
They
movie?
were, it says here, during 2013, the Cardinals competed in the American Athletic Conference.
Oh, okay.
American Athletic Conference. And they vacated all their wins. So that season technically just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. We didn't have a champion in NCAA in 2013. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all I'm got to say though. Now it is officially March Madness time. Now that conference tournaments have started, get ready to fill your brackets out. Even if you're not a fan, just do a coin flip. Try and win some money. And I know some people, they just go off, they let their kids pick. A lot of famous people
Do
are
just
doing
as
too.
good. You'll do just as
They
good.
do just as good, and they just pick off mascots.
Just don't let them do something stupid like a 1 seed lose to a 15 or whatever. Chris says, "Be careful what you wish for." Roy, how it was before Roy, I would argue it was pretty good before Roy. It was Bill Guthridge's fault that they had bad years. Matt Doherty's players won a national championship. It's Roy uses Dean Smith's offense and recruits off Carolina's name, and he did it Kansas. He recruits off Kansas' name, but he runs Dean's offense. I would, in fact, Hunter, and I know other Carolina fans wouldn't want it, but I'd give Matt Doherty another chance. I thought he was doing decent. His recruits were awesome. Rashad McCants won it. That was Matt Doherty's recruit.
I will say this: they're bringing back old coaches at North Carolina.
Not like Kenny Smith,
and they're damn good. Head coach at the football team's bringing in a lot of recruits. So if
good
that's
coach.
if
Didn't
that's
he lose
the coach,
didn't he lose to the Sun Belt at home this year?
maybe you might be right, but as of right now,
he ain't a good coach.
As of right now, if it was the end of the day, they have a top 15 recruiting class.
That's cute.
Hey, you got to bring in the talent. What did Roy Williams just complain about? He don't got the talent.
Can't beat App though. That's all that matters.
We'll see about that whenever they play again. If
won't.
they ever play again,
They won't. You think we're invited? You think we're invited back, shall we?
Why don't you invite us to Boone?
You can come Boone anytime you want.
We're going up there and have some Boonshine.
Them boys are scared.
The boys are scared.
They
But
don't want to come to Boone.
nobody wants to go to Boone.
You know how I know that the boys at Carolina are scared
Scared.
to come play in Boone? Because they could have easily went to App. Said they went to North Carolina.
They could have easily went to App.
What reasoning, Hunter, would you have to go to North Carolina as a recruit as opposed to Appalachian State?
You don't like the mountains.
That you like the basketball team?
You don't like the. You don't
That's
like
really
the cold.
that's really what we're talking about here.
You don't
We
like
all
the
know, we all
cold.
know that.
Look, I'm just saying, based off of recruiting as of right now, it's looking pretty good.
I mean, what would you say if you was how do you I just don't understand I guess kids are just signing up to be they like the Tar Heels basketball team so much and they like Tar Heels that they'll even play football for them even though the program has been garbage forever.
Look,
And I don't get it. I don't see why you can go in how you can go into someone's house and be like, if you're Appalachian, be like, hey, we're thinking about North Carolina. Well, that's cute. They can't beat us. We're thinking about South Carolina. Well, that's cute. They can't beat us.
I mean, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying
I know
that recruiting wise,
there's somebody
it's
playing
going
linebacker
good.
out there right now just because of the because they get to say they went to North Carolina.
Well, that's on him.
I know. It's
That's
just
on
it's
him.
crazy.
I know.
And then so anyway, what do you think? Our news reports real quick comes out.
Yeah, keeping it.
Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah.
Says that Duke has been paying their players about $200,000 to play their Hunter. What and that about the number I said the other day, last Saturday? We was talking about Duke and Clemson and paying their players. Wasn't that about the number we come up with?
It was about the number, and I know.
And we had real quick. We'd also discussed what would be the amount that would cause players in the XFL and everything to start doing there instead of going to Clemson and Alabama.
Money.
How much? That's what I'm saying. Gilbert Arenas says it's $200,000 to play at Duke. The Clemson recruiting scandal, or the NCAA recruiting scandal, where they were wiretapped in Vegas. They've got Clemson football coach or basketball coaches talking about trying to get Zion and saying that or someone talking about the Clemson folks saying they just had the money in the football program and not in the actual basketball program to be able to land Zion.
I've seen the same reports why Zion chose Duke over Kansas is because they asked for $100,000 in housing at Kansas and they didn't give it to him.
Arenas says players are already getting paid, and he knows that 2 players in the last 5 years were paid $200,000 to attend Duke rather than Kentucky, the recent FBI college basketball scandal opened the eyes of fans to what goes on under the table. Shoe companies are heavily involved in the payments to the players, which are funneled through youth programs to families and handlers. Duke under Coach K is thought to be on a higher level of morality when he comes to running a clean program, but Arena says the school is no different from any other program that's paying the players. I would definitely, all the private schools, I would definitely have my eyes open at them more than anything. Like, I mean, seriously, Arena.
A recent story about allegations that the highest profile Duke player of all was paid by Nike to attend the school, and I wonder who the highest profile player to come through Duke
that
was.
That Avenatti was involved in that, so who knows what the truth on that is. I just clicked on that and it said Michael Avenatti.
Oh, was it the guy with that was basically suing Nike?
The porn star that he was trying to sue Nike, and he just got found guilty of extortion, trying to sue Nike. So he's going to jail for like 40 years.
Jesus,
for trying to extort Nike.
Jesus.
Yeah, now I lost my. I'll go back to my Gilbert. Well, I did. I lost my Gilbert story. Well, there we go.
Well, anyways, you got the premise of it. He said basically $200,000
right
given to Duke players, but you and I both know who they're talking about in that final line when they said the highest profile Duke player. It's Zion.
Who?
It's Zion. It's not even a question.
Who?
It's Zion who they're referring to, especially since he is. I know it's not a Nike affiliate, but it's Jordan. Who else would have specially made shoes and send them to a college student if they didn't have money invested in him? Nike. They had custom-made shoes for him after he blew his foot out in those, Kyrie's?
Mm-hmm.
So, one, I understand it was for brand purposes. They don't want to have their shoes look like they can't withstand the beating. But two, if you got money invested in this kid and you want to try and sway him to continue to sign with you, why would you not send him that money? And people have to understand, too, just because it's Jordan, at the end of the day, it's still underneath the subsection Nike. It's basically like, look at this header, and then here's a bullet point under. It's Nike, Jordan.
They can afford to pay.
The bigger brand, technically, is Nike because it's got more athletes under it.
They can afford to pay these players $200,000.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. But see, what I don't understand is that, to me, unless Coach K signed off on it, should not go against the university. To me, that should be a 110% fine against the shoe company that's giving them the money if you're going to keep it to where they can't get paid.
But Hunter, what if Coach K is a
booster?
No. He's also a Nike employee. So he's obviously part of.
Well,
he's definitely.
Well, then why would he not
definitely
be fired?
knows about it. Then second, he would
be. Well, he knows.
He would
about
obviously,
it.
if Coach K is getting $10 million from Nike,
right,
and they're giving players on the table from Nike, then obviously.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and act like North Carolina's not doing it because if they are paying somebody, they're paying the wrong kids.
North Carolina, 100%, true or false, paid the wrong Britt brother.
Yes. Because the other one won a national championship.
On us, in our grill.
In Britt's face.
Yeah.
The only one, if North Carolina's paid any of them that's been good lately has been Kobe White. He's balling. Damn, he's balling at the next level. You know what they said when they drafted a North Carolina guard at 6 with the Bulls? They said the last time they did this, they got a stud, and it was Jordan. I said, wait a minute now, don't pull that on him, but he's going to be a scorer. There's no doubt about it. He's going to be a scorer.
How do you put that hair in a statue? Poor statue builder.
Well, see, he's kind of what he's done now in the league is he's kind of got it pulled back.
Yeah.
So it's not as. But if I was getting a statue, I'd be like, all right, put the big hair in it. Put the big hair in it. So, but does that surprise me? No. No, it doesn't surprise me. I think it's more surprising that Gilbert Arenas is the one coming out of left field saying it. Like, don't you got some guns to play with or something? Like, come on, man. We know why you got out the league.
All right, Hunter, let's move over to the NBA.
Yeah.
Hornets this week actually had a great week. They lost by 1, by 2, and then 1 against the Rockets.
And they won by a pretty big margin, too, against the